Namaste. Um, yes, so I'm supposed to be at the studio today and I'm not, and that's okay. Things happen, things come up, and luckily we have Zoom available and we can at least be together at the right time. And we're going to be all restorative today, and we're going to focus on poses that are two-sided. And the reason for that being, since I wasn't able to be with you guys yesterday was actually a big important day, according to numerology. It was February 22nd, 2022. So that's 2/22, 2022. So a lot of twos in there. And we looked at the universal year being the number 6 for 2022 at the start of the year. And 6 is, if you look at that number, it looks like they often say in numerology, it looks like the side of a pregnant woman, right? With the big belly. And so it's about what we're birthing. It's about being nurturing. It's about feminine energy. It's about kindness, caring, compassionate energy. And when we look at the two is very similar in the fact that the 2 is about, well, it can be about 2 different things. On the negative side or the shadow side, it's conflict and war, right? And we see this playing out overseas right now, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the positive side of it. The positive side, think of marriage, 2 people coming together as one, partnership, cooperation. It's a promotion of peace. It is about sensitivity and intuition with the feminine energy. So that's what I want to emphasize for today. And that's why we're going to do 2-sided poses to bring in the number 2. Now, if you added up all of the 2s yesterday, you would see that it comes to 12. And 12 is a master number. That means the master builder or master architect. So when we see that number 12, or on days like that, when the numerology code is 12, it is said to be a good time to envelop your creative energy. There's an abundance of that comes with it. And then the number 22, which showed up for the day as well as for the year, 22 is also a master number that is about manifestations. When you see a master number like 12 or 22, this is showing support from the angelic realm. It's showing support from the universe. It shows that your efforts and your actions are going to be supported. And so astrologically, there's been some things going on. Pluto is in its natal return to the United States chart. It has not been here since the Declaration of Independence was signed. That's happening this week. It's happening again in July. It's happening again in December. So they're saying and predicting this is going to be the start of a new American Revolution, where basically we're looking at everything from government to economics to healthcare to trade, to whatever is happening with our nation. And we're looking at it and examining, going, okay, is this working for us? Is this not working for us? Is this old ideology, or do we need to envelop some new ideology? And figuring out how to build a new future based on the foundation of love. And I love this because the foundation it's been built on has been primarily fear. So we're taking it out of the fear and back into love. Or at least that's the point of why all this is happening. And the numbers show it's being divinely supported. Basically, God is ready for the planet and humanity to evolve to its next level, which is exciting stuff. Because we're going to be focusing on the heart in one of the last poses, I want us to end with a heart meditation. And I'll talk about that at the end. But let's start on the mat and gather all the tools. So what we're going to start with is a side bend. And I wish I had more toss pillows around me to show you some different ways to do this, but your bolster is going to go sideways across your mat. Your blanket could be folded up in a long fold like this. It looks like a little junior bolster. So for instance, if you have any trouble with your hip or your low back and you're coming into this pose, you may want to sit on the blanket and then bring your body over in this manner. You may have the opposite. Your low back may be good to go, but you may need that blanket on the opposite side in order to support your shoulder or your head. And so what we're attempting to do is take the top arm over across the ear. Now, this could also be a strain for your shoulder. If that's the case, you can rest your hand over on your hip or down in front of you on the bolster. Ideally, we're trying to open up the side panel of the ribs. It's still restorative. It's not supposed to be a deep stretch. And then I'm going to give you an option for your legs. So right now I have it simple, a simple design with knees bent and stacked. Another design for your legs would be to extend the bottom leg down the lane of your mat and the top leg over and out in front of you. So it looks like this, like an L shape in a way. Now I'm checking in with my body. I'm feeling like I need the gentler form. Check in with your head and your neck. I really feel like I need a pillow. So I'm going to change it up here and put the blanket on top of the shoulder. And then close your eyes. Once you get settled into a state of ease, form a relationship with your breath. Breathe in such a way that you feel this top lung expanding on the inhale. Deflating on the exhale. Filling it up on the in-breath. Emptying on the out-breath. I would suggest taking about 7 of these full breaths. And then after you complete the 7, your breath can fall into an organic pace. Now, if your mind is not free from the thoughts, you can always bring the controlled breath back. Breathing in a conscious manner can help to minimize those thoughts. And focusing on the breath can help to minimize distractions. It is a little easier to get caught up with distractions at home. So remember, your best tool to turn to is your breath, if or when that happens. Go ahead and allow that top arm to slip down in front of us. We'll gather our strength to come up. And then we'll take it to the other side. So you can just simply turn your body, or if you're facing me with your mat turned this direction, you can just take it to the other side like I showed you. Again, each side is different. So you may need it under the hip on this side. You may need it for the head on the other side. Let's go ahead and test the waters here. Again, making sure that you're opening up this upper side panel and your ribs. Making sure you have enough support wherever you need it. And then discovering, once you have the upper body assigned, where do you want to assign your legs to be? And then close your eyes. Harness your breath. Breathe with depth and control for at least 7 rounds. If your mind is able to quiet down, feel free to let go of the breath, allowing it to find its own natural pace. So yesterday, when I was listening to several different numerologists and astrologers talking about the energetic portal of yesterday, they said that, wherever we put our attention, wherever we place our thoughts, whatever we're feeding with our feelings, it's going to help to shift the timeline. And I do believe that is real, because I do believe in mind over matter. And so hopefully yesterday you were able to withdraw away from the news and to build a more optimistic platform in your mind and in your heart. If we get inundated in what's happening, it could potentially lead to more war. But if we focus on, withdrawing away from all of that and keeping ourselves in an optimistic attitude, we can promote more love and joy and peace within our hearts. That has a ripple effect upon the people we're around. And that also can potentially affect the collective. So what timeline are you supporting, war or peace? And sometimes that battle is within our own self. Whenever we have insecurities come up, whenever we become the doubting Thomas. And that's part of our humanness. We do have strong emotions. We do have strong opinions. But for now, try to let it all go and breathe your way into a state of bliss despite the outer occurrences. Let's release the top arm down in front of us and slowly come up out of that shape. Now that we've been opening up the side body, which helps to expand the lungs, we're going to take the two blocks and the bolster on top. And I want you to leave enough space between the blocks to extend your left leg through the center. And then your right foot is going to come into half butterfly or Janu Shavasana. Now, the closer Stonehenge or the props are to you, the easier it is to just kind of lean forward into prayer hands. If you want to go a little bit deeper and to actually feel a little bit more of a stretch, you can slide them out, you can lean forward, and you can prop your arms and head on top. Some people also like to just prop the forehead and let the arms drape down. You can play around with those different options. Would always open up your restorative positions with at least 7 controlled breaths. And then bringing it back whenever you need to. Maybe that's what you need for mental focus. Maybe that's part of your meditation. But it could be that you're so advanced in your meditation, it only takes about 7 rounds of breath to drop in and to get quiet and to just be and dwell in that space. Next in breath, let slowly begin to back away. Then we'll swap to the other side. So this time we'll bring the left knee back, slide the right leg through the center of the blocks, and then open up from that left hip. Again, this side may be tighter. If that's the case, you may want to bring it in closer. If it's similar to the other side, or maybe you're more open on this side, you can hinge down. Off in the interior and exterior of your mouth, your jaw starting to feel tight. You can also relieve that pressure by taking a cleansing breath. And we're slowly going to back away. When we start to back away from the pose, make sure this stone hinge is stable, because we're going to come down to the back. And instead of staying in just the regular stone hinge, once the legs are propped up, we're going to bring the left foot to the edge of the bolster or close to the edge of the bolster. And your hands are welcome to rest on your abdomen here. You can always cover your eyes with a towel or eye pillow if you have one. Let's inhale, replace the left calf to the bolster and glide the right foot back. We're trying to keep the knee, bending in the direction of the chest versus winging out or crossing over your midline. So it's important on where you have your right foot placed in order to maintain that positioning. If this knee or hip is feeling cranky or problematic today, you can always just do regular Stonehenge and still benefit and restore the hips and the low back. And now slide your left foot back to join the other. You can roll to one side, or you can use your feet to lift the bolster. And we're going to take that bolster in between the thighs, position from the knees to the ankles, and then we're going to splay the arms open and take a supine twist. Using the bolster between the legs makes it a little bit more easeful for the low back. Take 7 more breaths. And after the 7, you can bring this bolster along with you, taking the knees to the other side, opening your arms back up. So my body, it continues to morph during menopause. I'm starting to feel like I need a blanket or a pillow under my head here. So, since you're at home, gather anything else you need for support, even if I don't mention it. Let's take 7 more breaths here. Once you've completed those 7, roll to the right side and help to build your way up. And I want you to set up for Shavasana with the 2 blocks and a slide. And then this blanket, if you still have it, can go over your body, under your head, or under your knees. And I'm gonna just go ahead and talk to you while you're in the pose, so I don't waste your time while you're sitting up. So while you're setting up and settling in, I'll just go ahead and tell you that there was this scientific-based study done, I believe, in Germany in 2017. And it was based on trying to measure the photons or the light that is being emitted from a person or a human heart. And what they discovered was that 20 photons can be measured from a person's heart. Then they decided, within the experiment, to have the people meditate for about 15 minutes. And after they did breath work, and once they were told to drop into their heart, to picture the love in their heart, to picture it radiating from their heart, they discovered that the 20 photons grew 5,000 times stronger. And then they measured it again, and it was 100,000 photons of light. That's massive. It went from 20 to 100,000. So I encourage you to follow my instruction by taking a few deep breaths to begin with. Follow the exhalations all the way down your body. And then focus on the swelling in your chest as you breathe in. So that you feel the wave of the breath moving in and opening and expanding your heart center. And as you exhale, you can loosen up any of the ties that bind you to your thoughts, to drop out of your head and become more embedded in your heart. Breathing in and up to the heart. Breathing out and down to the heart. Now that study did say you cannot improve the light emitted from the heart with transcendental meditation. So continue to focus at your heart. And not just the physical muscle or organ, but the metaphysical, spiritual essence of your heart. And envision a geyser coming up from your heart, pouring out light, love, Just as that water sprays, just as light illuminates, imagine the swelling in your heart, exploding from the heart, filling up every cell of your mind and body. Imagine its minutes is so bright, it's piercing through the pores of your skin, moving downward into the earth, moving upward towards the heavens, moving outward into your home and community. Imagine your light and love that's illuminated so brightly, that's pouring out of you and spreading in all these directions, is making an impact upon the light grid around this planet. Know that it's impacting the hearts of others. Feel free to send this into the hearts of people in leadership roles, people who are plagued with illness, anyone who may be suffering, anyone who is joyous in celebration. Let your light and love help to expand their light and love. Imagine your whole body's electric. Sending these waves outward, creating a ripple effect. Positivity to occur. Breathe the light in, breathe the light out. Breathe the love in, breathe the love out. Take 7 more breaths. in to build up out of that position. And then we'll sit for a moment in silence to conclude our practice together. And still meditating on the heart that holds the infinite source of all the light and love that we need. And bringing the hands to prayer position at the heart. I want to remind you guys that meditation does affect the collective. I haven't shared these studies in a while, but remember there was one I shared with you years ago based in Washington, D.C., where crime is usually, obviously worse in the hot summer months. And they did an experiment. They brought in a few thousand meditators and had them meditate on peace. And within that time frame of the meditations, crime significantly dropped more than half. And then they did the study again to prove that, yes, it was the meditations that were creating more peace. So if we want to see more peace on this planet, the peace has to begin within, and it begins within when we drop within. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.